Hey everybody, this is Luke for Billingsplanroom.com and itb.io. Today we're going to be talking about monitoring or managing your project after you've sent out invitations to bid. So we're going to jump in here to this project. I'm on the dashboard. I'm going to click on the project name and I'm going to pull the project up. Once I pull the project up, I'm going to go to the Invitations to Bid tab. Sometimes we refer to this as the monitor page because we're going to monitor this project after the invitations have been sent out. So you can see up here there's some buttons across the top here. We've got a select option to print. This is where you can actually print this page out as a report. That will help you stay engaged with your project throughout the time. You could, of course, send more invitations to bid if you wanted to. We'll cover this report printing here in just a moment. So from this page we can see the total number of invites sent. If any have errors, we can see the number sent out, those that are waiting, meaning that they haven't responded yes, no, or maybe to us, and those that are not opened. We can see those that have been opened, those that have opened the email and have not responded to us. Then we can see the responses down here. We've received 1 yes, 2 no's, and 1 remind me. Let's go back to this not opened. So if we hover our mouse over this folder and click on not opened, it's going to pull up a report that tells us that there's, for some reason, 5 of our invited contacts may not have received our invites. So some of the potential reasons why might be spam or junk mail. Maybe it's a bad email address, an unopened email. There's really a lot of reasons why people could be in this category. And this screen is just to help us manage those people. So we can see here that this contact has not been contacted. This would be a manual contact. You could either email them directly from this screen, or you could click the little checkbox to say that you called them. So if you call them, pick up the phone and say, hey, I invited you on this project. Did you get my invite? No? Okay. Here's the information and let me resend the email. You can just call them right here and log that you called them. Additionally, if you want to let somebody know via email, you want to try and reach them again, you can send an email directly from here. That'll be a one-to-one email directly from your email address. It'll use your servers, send it directly to their email address. That way you can just be sure that there's no other factors involved with our software sending the email on your behalf. You can directly send the email. You can modify this and change this once you pull it up. We just pre-populate it with some of the information. Okay, so that's how that works. You'll log as you go through this list of potential problems. You can log those there. Okay, so that's the not open. We talked about these responses. The next thing down here is the message to bidders. So you can see the message that you sent to the bidders. Then we got the next button down is the trades. So if you click on this, it'll switch the view from an alpha view to a trades view, and we can go back and vice versa. Okay, so that's the views you can switch. The little icons indicate if it was a private contact or an exchange contact that you invited. Next thing is the filter by type. So we can filter by the response type. So if you need to see who your waiting subs are, who is waiting to respond to you, you can click on the filter. That will turn that filter on for you. So you can see who's been waiting, and then you can view to see if there's been any activity. So if they haven't responded to you but they have lots of project activity, then that's typically a good sign that they're going to bid your project or are at least interested in your project. If they don't have any project activity and they're waiting, then those would be the people that I would suggest that we need to follow up with and just make sure that they received your invite. So you can filter by multiple levels. If you want to know who your yes and remind me people are, you can click those 2 filters. And anytime you have a filter applied or you don't, you can use that print report up at the top and it's going to print what you see. So right now I'm filtered by 2 different filters. I've got my yes people and my remind me, and now I can go in and I can print either an alphabetical view or a trade and specialty view or an even division level view, so I can have an idea of who my bidders are. One thing that I find really helpful is if you turn these filters off, turn on your waiting filter, you can get your problem list of people that potentially may not be aware of your project. Maybe they didn't get the email. You can print that list off and then go down and do a checklist and follow up with those users. Make sure that they got your email and they're aware of your project. The next thing that we can do is we can talk about this status code legend. So the status code legend is a cheat sheet for you to know what the different email codes that you might see mean, or what the different email events that you see are. So there's processed, delivers, opens, clicks. What do these things mean? Defers, drops, bounce. Any of these messages that you see on the screen, you can go to the legend and see exactly what delivered means. So if we come down here and see what a delivered message means that an email has been accepted at the receiving server. So that event fires when they accepted it. So you could also see what does it mean if you see an error down here. It says dropped. When I hover over it, it tells me a little bit more about it, and it says that it was dropped. So if I come back to the legend and I look at the events, I see dropped means that there are a number of reasons your email was not even be sent to a recipient. So that email dropped. It's a bad email address. We could find out a little bit more about that under the activity log right here. And we see it gives us a 550 message. We can look that up as well. So you can see a 550 means the mailbox was unavailable. So that's a bad email address. We're going to need to get a new email address for that person. Resend the invite. Let's go back to the invitations to bid tab. So you have the status code legend. The status code legend is going to be really helpful. If you hover over these events, a lot of times they'll give you more information. They'll tell you 250 OK. That's an email code. So you can see the different messages. You can search for a company. If there's a company you're looking for in your list, you can search for them here. Filter that down to that company. All right, moving along. Send message will allow you to send a message to this user. So I'm right on this user right here. I hit send message, and it'll let me type up a message and send an email to that user. Really helpful if you just need a direct, quick communication to that person. You can view the invitation that you sent to that person, and you can update their response. So if you're on the phone with that user and they say, yeah, I am going to be bidding that, come in here, update their preference. You'll have their new bid preference. So if you're talking to somebody and they say, yeah, I'll bid that job to you, you can come in here and manage that for them. You can go to View ITB and update that. You can resend the ITB. So if they say they never got the message, this one shows delivered, they say they never got it, just hit resend ITB. It'll resend the exact message that you originally sent to them very quickly. You can come through here and you can filter these down. You can look at the different emails. If you did follow up with somebody using this method here and you logged it here, that gets logged down here, so you can see this person was called on 9/13. The activity index, this project here that I'm looking at doesn't have any activity on it. This was a test project, but let's review that real quick. We'll go to another project. Okay, let's talk about activity for a second. I switched to a different project that I've got so I can show you what it looks like when people do sign into projects. So on this project, we can see that this project has some different users on it at Builders Exchange. One had moderate activity, meaning they had viewed the project between 2 and 5 times. This user has no activity. This user had viewed the project 1 time. Again, no activity, low activity, moderate activity, and then we see high activity. So more than 5 views gets registered as high activity. So we have the little heat meter to demonstrate to you what's going on. So what I like to do is switch over to my waiting view and just make sure that somebody in that company, even though they're waiting, has accessed the project. If nobody's accessed the project, then what we see is that there's probably a chance that they haven't even opened the email yet, and we need to just make a phone call to them or shoot them another email, maybe resend them a message here and say, hey, I noticed you haven't signed into the project yet. Just want to make sure you got my invite. So that's how you can use the activity meter to help you along with your people that are in waiting to make sure that people are getting your projects. So I like to use the two in conjunction with each other, go to the waiting and then review to make sure that everybody has some activity. People that don't have activity, I just send them a quick message and say, hi, I noticed that you haven't signed into my project yet. Just want to make sure you got the invite. Please let me know. It's really important to me to know that you're going to be bidding my project or not. So that's a little overview of what we call the invitations to bid tab, the monitor page. There's lots of different names. Once again, you can filter down by different responses and then use the option to print. You can use the not open button to make sure that any potential issues could be contacted prior to the bid date. You can also, additionally, you can send a message to specific bidders. You can resend the ITB to a specific user. You can monitor the activity, make sure people are signing into your project, check the activity index. You can switch your view to the trade. There's so much you can do on this page. This is where the bulk of your time after you send out the invites is going to be spent. This is how you're going to monitor the project to make sure that you've got adequate bid coverage. For now, this is Luke Hudson from Billingsplanroom and ITB.io. We hope you enjoyed this video. Please visit our YouTube channel and our website for more features and tips on how to make the most of your bid management tools from Billingsplanroom.com.